Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching The Breakfast Show, and now we'll be discussing a topic which is the role of media in highlighting and explaining Egypt's mega programs to develop infrastructure with the aim of boosting the ability of cities to accommodate more citizens. And to talk more about this topic, we are very delighted to have with us here Dr. Mohamad Hashim. He's a professor of mass communication and also he's a media expert. Thank you very much, Dr. Hashim, for coming.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, we would like to start first by asking you about the role of media when it comes to simplifying the technical and economic information related to the mega projects to the ordinary citizen.
Yes, I think the role of the media is quite important in engaging the citizens and explaining to the citizens the different developmental projects and the advancement that's happening in Egypt. It's quite a rapid advancement in the last, say, 10 years. We've had things like digitization, speed cameras, radar cameras, infrastructure work, bridges, buildings, new cities. So it's a lot of work that's happened and developments happened in Egypt, and the only way for the citizens to know and engage and understand is primarily through media.
Yeah, and why it's important for a citizen to understand what's going on?
Yeah, for the feeling of security and the feeling of stability and the feeling of understanding. When you understand something, you feel more secure about it. You feel more knowledgeable about it, and that helps with things like interpretation of what's going on, understanding of what's going on. Our prices going up in railways and metro systems and road tolls and all that stuff. That's really important stuff. So things like infographics, animation, things that are visual. So there's about 13 different media theories that are used to help citizens understand what's happening in terms of development. I'll try to mention a few today.
Dr. Hashim, what about the most important and effective tools in documenting the developmental achievements?
So like I was saying before, so let's talk about one of the theories called gratification theory. So gratification theory in media basically involves the audience, it gets the audience involved in the development itself. So it gives you things like a local story. So it'd give you like a real person living in a real area like Al-Haram or Al-Maadi, all those areas, and we'll follow their life and we'll show how they're benefiting from the development, the things that are getting developed, how is that getting implemented into a normal person's life. And that creates relatability to the other citizens. So when a citizen sees someone that looks like them relying on or benefiting from a certain development project, they will understand how it will affect their life primarily later on. That's called gratification theory. Another theory is called obviously soft power. So soft power means a way of making the citizen empowered through understanding why this development happened. Like, say, for instance, speed cameras. A lot of people don't like speed cameras. But when you realize speed cameras are good because of safety, road safety, it's making people follow the rules more. It's making the traffic more easily adjusted and workable. The citizen takes it on.
And we pay a lot of money.
And you end up paying a lot of money. But
for
then
the speed cameras.
If you compare that to overseas, it's not as much. There's countries in Europe that pay something like 12,000 euros an hour for one road, and it keeps them in line. I mean, you need laws, you need rules.
So here it's more cheaper.
Exactly.
Doctor, we are all witnessing the leap in social media lately. How do you view the effect of social media in this regard?
Yes, social media also needs to be very relevant, very engaging for the citizen. It needs to give citizens clear and understandable information about the development projects Again, by making it friendly, the language needs to be friendly, user-friendly, and easy to understand, and also very engaging. And it's a sort of participation, it's a sort of collaboration. If you're a good marketeer, if you do good marketing on social media, you are telling a story, because human beings by nature, they love to listen to stories. So when you tell a story, or when you advertise the projects in such a way where it's like a documentary, where you're following real people and real concepts and aspects, it becomes more engaging again, and that's a very important word, to be engaged with the audience, and real. It makes it real. Because sometimes when we see these new cities and fantasy smart cities, you look at them as a fantasy. How does it apply to me? How does it affect my life? Everybody sits there and says, how does it affect my life? So on social media, you need to find a way to prove that it will affect their life in a certain way. Yes.
Doctor, how does highlighting the development project support Egypt's future and growth?
Yes, well, that's a very important aspect. Highlighting the projects basically means to take the projects internationally. So first you've got to begin locally with the local population and explain to them the benefits of these projects, why these projects are implemented, how they're going to work, how they're going to affect the average citizen, and then you need to move on to international media. So international media would have to have a framework, a certain design and framework that applies to the international market, that appeals to Europe and Australia and America by using multilingual, like Nile TV. Of course, we're speaking in English, so people in Europe can watch us, in England, English-speaking countries like Holland speak English, and obviously America, Australia, Canada, UK can all watch Nile TV. So it has to have a multilingual service. It has to also have the framework and the understanding that the international audience can understand. So there's no point using the same strategy for the local population as you would for international. So the strategy has to change. You need to know how people internationally think, so you can produce a product that makes sense to the international market. There's no point speaking in a way that doesn't relate or translate to the international population. It doesn't work. You need to know the language of whoever you're targeting. And that's what happens when Egypt's trying to highlight the projects. It needs to do research. The marketing team needs to do research. What's already happening in America in terms of bridges, metro systems, monorail systems, digitization, and apply it in a way that is understandable for that market. So you need to know your audience, basically. You need to know your audience. And that's relevant for theatre, which is my specialty, in media, but it's also relevant for marketing. You need to know who you're targeting. Are you targeting audience from 18 to 24, or 24 to 40, or 40 to 60? It makes a difference. The way you speak, the language you use, the attractiveness of the product changes based on the age, the demographic, the understanding, all that sort of stuff makes a difference.
Doctor, how can the Egyptian media promote the development achievements globally?
So the same sort of thing. So globally, it needs to, shape itself in a way that's attractive for the global market, but it also needs to also target certain countries. So depending on, again, that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, soft power and diplomacy, pragmatic diplomacy. So who are we targeting? Are we targeting the American audience? Are we letting America know that...
I think there are conferences worldwide we can participate in.
Like the G20 summit and all these summits. Egypt has held for the last 5 years. There was one in Sharm el-Sheikh, I think G27 one, and the ones before it. So these summits and conferences exactly also provide ways, a bridge of communication between international travelers, international businessmen, politicians to come and see the country and see the development. And there's been a huge development, especially in digitization, and that's really important because we were struggling for many years with papers. Everything's on paper. So by having things on a system, a computer system, it's made it very easy for the citizens. And I have colleagues that go to Italy, and they say that Italy isn't as advanced as Egypt. Egypt's actually more advanced when it comes to the paperwork, and the digitization is more advanced here. Things like InstaPay and Fawri and all these services, some of them aren't available overseas. They're not. It takes longer to get stuff done in some European countries than here.
Doctor, how does the media face the false news and rumors related to the development project?
Well, that's something that you need to have like a combat campaign. So somebody or a team of people need to monitor these false news and misinformation, because obviously there's always people out there to stir trouble and make false claims to make the citizens think that the state isn't doing the right thing, or it's doing projects that are not relevant. So obviously education and engagement is very important, especially things like the administrative capital. when
Yes.
that began to get built in 2019, a lot of people say, why do we need that? You need to let them know why you need that. You know, how many universities have been built there? I think like 20 universities, schools. It's put a lot of stress off the downtown, the Mugammal Tahrir building,
Yes, yes.
where all the government stuff is gone there. That's made a big difference.
Yeah.
A lot of people have also moved there. So it takes time. It's going to take 10 years for something to make sense. But if you're expecting instant results, that's where the problem is. And part of the misinformation is by leading people astray, letting them know that they should get results straight away. It's impossible. Things take years to develop.
So we have to have media campaigns to face this rumor.
Yes, of course. Like in America, when America began, America always talks about being a democracy. Well, it wasn't a democracy when it first began. It began by building railways. People were getting $1 a day. People were dying on the railways while it was getting built. There was poverty everywhere. While it was getting built, it wasn't a democracy. It was not as beautiful as it looks now. It's taken at least 60 years to develop, and then after that another 60 years to get rid of things like slavery and all the other stuff. So, and that's where misinformation comes in. Misinformation tries to tell you that results should happen instantly. It's impossible. Nothing gets built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. America wasn't built in a day. So things take time, and the way to combat misinformation is to teach people about process, not about results. Things take time, and letting them know how the process works with different media tools that we spoke about before.
Doctor, how can the success of the media message be measured?
I think by the interpretation and the understanding of the layman, the local man. So if you can do maybe surveys, like people that do their masters or PhDs end up doing a survey right at the end of before they hand up their thesis. So a survey is basically going out on the streets and speaking to the layman, the everyday man, and asking him or her what they understand about the project. Why is the project relevant? Why is it needed now? What's the difference between implementing the project now and what was there before? And you'll see the result. You'll see the result by having surveys and statistics, and that can be done through, there's a few organizations in Egypt that do stuff like that. Basira is one of the companies that does that. And it's very important to have statistics and surveys to ask and see where people are grasping what's happening. They need to grasp what's happening. They need to have knowledge and also be entertained by what's going on also. Media needs to entertain. It can't just be boring facts and figures. It needs to be a form of entertainment. So by definitely asking the average man or woman on the streets what's happening, and also asking different categories of citizens what's happening. So the businessman, the doctor, the engineer, the lawyer, and then the average...
all segments of the society.
All segments of society.
Dr. Hashim, what examples of successful infrastructure projects in Egypt can media focus on nowadays?
Well, I think the biggest one that most people speak about is the bridges, and that was looked upon with a lot of scrutiny at the beginning, but then now people are realizing how important the bridges have been, especially in places like Masr Gadida and Nasr City, all those congested areas where it would take you an hour and a half to get, to drive 5 kilometers. Now it takes 5-10 minutes. So there's a huge difference. A lot of people did complain at the beginning because a lot of the trees were cut down and the parks were taken away. But that's coming back. There's been other projects now that are trying to bring back the greenery of these areas. It was taken away for a certain amount of time due to the infrastructure of the bridges and building all the bridges and all the infrastructure. But it's coming back. There's an understanding of sustainability, climate change, the importance of greenery, and that's coming back. So again, it's back to knowledge and understanding, and how to implement that through what the government's doing, but also through what the people are engaging with and understanding.
Doctor, how can the media encourage citizens to participate positively in national projects? And this reminds us of the building of the pyramids.
Yes.
It was a national project at that time.
Exactly. I think it took, 28 years to build the pyramids, something like that, a long time.
They don't have media at that time.
They didn't have media, yeah.
So how can media convince the normal citizens to participate in this project?
Exactly. So things like the Creative Summit, there's a lot of activities happening at the museum, like your kind self said also about the conferences. So these things are allowing citizens to get involved by having campaigns and conferences and summits to put their own input on what's happening, try to interpret what's happening. Interpretation is a very important word also in this. Try to interpret what's happening and trying to understand, and making you know, banners and flyers and campaigns that are friendly, that are fun, even for children to get engaged in. You know, things like Kidzania, the one in New Cairo.
Yes.
That's a project that teaches children how to drive at a young age, how to use the road rules in a fun way, how to engage with traffic lights, how to respect the road. So little things like that can be implemented on teaching them how to use the digitization service, how to use the camera service, or how to understand the camera service, why it's relevant. So, you know, there should be little funded campaigns made by local people to let them know the importance and the progress that's happening in the region.
Yeah. And how does improving infrastructure contribute to economic growth?
Yeah, well, that's the staple of economic growth. So basically, economic growth is international investment. The main part of it is international investment. So the way to attract a company like Amazon to come to Egypt, or one of the big American infrastructure plants or something like that, they will need to make sure that the roads are viable, they're working, the camera systems are working. There's a great police force behind the operation and the safety of the citizens. All these things lead to security, stability, and these are things that people that want to come and invest and build a factory or build a plant or a station or an office need to have as the basis. So obviously roads, easy getting around, things like bureaucracy in business, and obviously all the other stuff. So having that infrastructure, having that ease, using things like digitization, the card systems, the payment systems, the tax systems, all that stuff needs to be clear, transparent, and especially for an international person or a business that wants to come and invest in Egypt. Away from investment, groups that want to come and work in Egypt, so they need to have multilingual signs on roads. They need to know, it needs to become an international city. And Egypt's the leader in that at the moment. If you go to places like Dubai and GCC countries, they have multilingual, friendly access to road signs, transparency when it comes to registering a business, and the tax system. All that stuff needs to be clear and available in different languages. And yeah, going back to the first step, roads, safety, security, that's what people look at when they want to work or invest in a country like Egypt.
And why, Doctor, it's important to address the normal citizen in simple language in this regard?
Yes, that's very important, because relevancy is all about relevancy. People only relate to things that they understand. You can't make them relate to something they don't understand. If it becomes too complicated and technical, that might work for a doctor or engineer, but it won't work for the man selling watermelons, or it won't work for the man selling fruit. He needs to understand, and that's the majority. There's a huge majority of people that just the average man, 70%. So how do you speak to the average man? You need to understand what makes him laugh, what triggers him, what appeals to him. And give him the information in his way. It has to be done in his way. And I think the media does a good job at that. A comforting sort of media, using visuals. Visuals very important. So some people don't like to read. Some people like to watch videos. Some people like to look at images. So things like, again, infographics, and the visuals very important. It's probably the most important. I mean, we have phenomenal billboards on every bridge in Egypt. That's very important. It's telling us about the real estate, that's the booming real estate that's happening. It's also telling us about, you know, the telecommunications that's happening. We look at that while we're driving all the time. And we make our own interpretation. And then we go somewhere else and listen to the same thing again on social media or somewhere else. We interpret, oh, that's what that meant, and you look at it somewhere else. There used to be a company back in Australia in 2002. Now this company, how it advertised, I'll quickly tell you, it was called Mojo, and it just had an M sign. So what they did to sell the product was put M everywhere. So everyone would walk around and see the stickers of M, 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 M. And nobody knew what M was. But it got people talking about this label called M. And then eventually, we found the shop. They had a building, and then we saw it was jeans. They sold jeans. So they got people talking about something before they knew the product. So by the time the building was built and the product came out, people went to buy it. Even though they didn't know the quality of it, they didn't understand anything of it, it got people talking about curiosity, exactly. So that's the way of marketing, and that's the way of media also. So subliminal messaging.
Yes. Well, Dr. Mohamad Hashim, Professor of Mass Communication and Media Expert, thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us today in our breakfast show.
Thank you. Always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,